welcome to Fearless TV. I'm Charlie, this is Dan, and this show has been produced by the youth and young adults at Hillsong London.
In this season, we're going to be looking at fearless relationships. So what it means to have healthy relationships without fear.
We have loads coming up in today's show, but first, let me introduce you to some of our youth and young adults. Let's meet the Fearless Entourage. Yes, guys.
We've got loads going on in today's show. We're going to see people face their fears, we're going to hear life-changing stories and listen to some incredible up-and-coming artists. But first, what we're going to do is chat to my mate, Dan Watson, and see where he's...
Dan Watson!
Well, guys, I've been back at it again on the streets of London in my black cab, and you want to know who I've been hanging out with?
Who?
Check it out.
Hey!
All right, welcome to the cab, Pappas. Tell us what's your name, where are you from, what do you do, who are you?
Okay, my name is Alex Pappas, or Alexander, as my mother calls me.
How many people actually call you Alex, though?
Very few.
Right,
very few.
Just Pat.
My girlfriend, my family.
Yeah.
It'd be weird if they called me Pat. But that's about it. Yeah. And I'm from America. I grew up in LA, and then but I live in Sydney, Australia.
How long have you been there?
Coming up on 8 years.
Wow.
8 years. Yeah. I moved over when I was 19, and you do the math. I'm not that anymore. You don't have to do the math now.
Yeah,
that was for the viewers at home.
For that, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did get a good grade in maths.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. It's all good.
And so you're part of the Young and Free band.
That's right.
How did you get into that?
When I was 19, when I moved to Sydney,
yeah.
I became part of the youth ministry. Fast forward 4 years, and was when Pete and Laura were kind of dreaming up and talking about Young and Free and the new expression of worship in church, and yeah, it was this very like organic and natural process to, hey, inviting all of our youth ministry to write songs and do that sort of stuff. And
so they opened it up to everybody.
Anybody who was essentially anybody who was serving in youth. I kind of just fingers crossed. I was like, oh, I'd love to get to play bass for it. Like that would be amazing. Like I didn't even think like I would potentially be one of the worship leaders for it. Like it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna use this person, that person, but yeah, I just didn't think.
You said you got a girlfriend at the beginning. How long have you guys been dating?
About 6 months-ish.
Yeah? Yeah. What advice would you give to a couple to have a fearless relationship?
A fearless relationship is where I think both of you are pointing to Jesus as the sole dependency and trusting in him to take care of that. And I really think like, it's funny, I'm definitely still learning this right now, but I really believe that once you give him like all of your heart, not like, oh yeah, but I've got this piece saved for her, like this piece is all for her, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But like when I like really give him all of my heart, he somehow expands it to make room for someone else within it. And another person can have my whole heart or whatever, but a true fearless, I think, relationship is where both of you are pointing to Jesus for sole dependency and trusting in him to be the fulfillment, to be your everything.
If you was to sing a song to your girl, what's your girlfriend's name?
Emily.
Emily. If you was to sing a song to Emily right now, just to let her know how much you love her, what song would it be?
The song I'm going to sing is I Don't Want to Close My Eyes by Aerosmith.
Pappas, here we go for you, Emily. Let's go.
From the bridge. I don't want to miss one smile. I don't want to miss one kiss. I just want to stay with you right here, oh, just like this. I just want to hold you close.
I'm not singing
and
to you.
Feel your arms so close to mine. That's really good.
Yeah.
And then we'll stay lost in this moment for all the rest of time.
Can you do that?
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Love it.
How's that?
Love
right?
it.
Thank you, bro.
Pappas,
you pulled the best out of me there.
Thanks
you
for
really
being in the
did.
cab with us, bro. We've had a good time.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me
Love
in
so
this
much.
fine cab.
Best.
How good was that? If you enjoyed that taxi interview, check out our YouTube channel for exclusive content. Now, as a show, we are committed to discovering new up-and-coming musicians and artists. So our very own Jen has been out scouting the UK for some talent. Jen, how'd you get on?
I've got a really talented artist for you today. His EP made the top 5 albums on iTunes. He's been touring with Ella Air. Check out the unique sound of up-and-coming artist, Joel Baker.
Do you think about us? Do you think about life, baby? Do you think about us? Do you think about what do you think about? Why do girls love bad guys, though? I've been trying to figure out why, though. I'm not the type to get in fist fights, no, but some days you make me want to switch sides, though. Side note, I've been catching feelings on a slider, trying to force them back. I mean, you're used to guys who have awful tats to screw you over, then come crawling back. I'm just saying, but how'd you feel the spaces? How'd you feel the gaps, though? I've been trying to take this further than you have. Singing, oh, lover, can't you see? I could be the good guy that you need. And, oh, lover, don't you know? I could be the one that you bring home. Oh, lover, don't you mind? I could be the one that treats you right. Oh, lover, can't you see? I could be the good guy that you need. Can't you see? Can't you see, baby? Look, well, everyone's got an opinion on you, but I don't really care at all. Nah, I don't really care at all. But you don't really care enough, I mean, that ain't really fair at all. If you want to be friends, that's brill, but I think you can sense the deal. I see way more in you than just sex appeal. You deserve more than Netflix and chill. I'm just saying, but how'd you feel the spaces? How'd you feel the gaps, love? I've been trying to take this further than you have. Singing, oh, lover, can't you see? I could be the good guy that you need. And oh, lover, don't you know? I could be the one that you bring home. Oh, lover, don't you mind? I could be the one that treats you right. Oh, lover, can't you see? I could be the good guy that you need. Do you think about us? Do you think about life, baby? When you think about us, do you think about what do you think about?
How good is Joel Baker? I love that lad. If you know anyone who's talented just like Joel, why don't you get in touch? Get in touch at fearlesslondon.co.uk. We'd love to hear about them and maybe get them on the show.
Yes, well, right now it's time for one of my favourite moments in the show. We're going to see some people directly face their fears head on. So, McLaren and Maureen.
Hello, Charlie.
It's smelling pretty fishy up here. Why don't you tell us what's in store?
Well, Charlie, fear is something that stops people from going about their everyday lives. And so we're going to play a game to help you face your fears.
That's right, McLaren, and all you have to do to win this game is do a normal, everyday thing.
That's right.
While facing your fear.
Indeed, we are. Maureen, that is why we call this game
Fear is
a Lie. We have got a battle of the twins on our hands, Maureen. Which one have you got on that side?
Cyrus.
And on this side we have Mo Aziz. Yes, we do. We also have Deborah.
Yeah, Deborah.
Yeah.
This side's gonna win, is it not? That's what I'm talking about.
And this side. Yourself, Charlotte. Charlotte. We're gonna win. We got this.
So all they have to do to win the challenge today is simply apply the foam to their partner's face and proceed to shave their partner with a fish.
Beautiful, McLaren. It is beautiful.
Easy. Some people have a fear of the sea. We're not going to take them there. We're going to bring the sea to us. Are you ready for the challenge? Who's going to apply the foam and who is going to be shaved on this side?
He's gonna be shaved.
I reckon he needs it. He's already. We've
have
actually
some
got a fearless
t-shirts
shirt for you to wear, just in case
you guys.
you know, some of that gets on you. You can put it on really quickly if you'd like. or you use it as a bib. I like it.
It's cute. It's nice.
They know what they're doing.
They do.
Fashion tips from the twins. I
Look at
like
that.
it. I think we need to get ready and go on with...
You ready?
Are we ready on this side? I'll take that as a yes.
Are you ready on this side?
So ready. Let's go.
Ready. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Go for it. Wow, get it right in there. Look at this one.
Look at this
Yeah, you can start going. Go for it.
love
Go
it.
for it. Get that fish in
Oh,
there.
she's already... Oh! Get it.
That is gross.
Quicker, you got this. You got this. Maureen, you be the judge.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Slap it. Get that foam off. Get that foam off. Slap him. Slap him.
We kind of have a win, you know.
Wow.
It's
You win.
Yeah.
And as a prize, they get fearless T-shirts, because today we've proven that fear is
alive.
to you.
How awesome was that? Well, not too awesome for those people getting slapped about by a fish. But anyway, can't wait to see what they've got lined up for the rest of the shows. The reality is, just like we've just seen, we all have fears to face and overcome. And one of our favourite things to do on this show is share stories of people overcoming their fears. So here's a fantastic story of a young person in the life of our church who confronted their fears.
When I started secondary school, I found it hard to adjust to school life and make new friends. I was shy and didn't like speaking. I didn't like being the centre of attention. People are quick to judge, and because of this, I found it hard to express myself and tell people what I wanted to do in my life. When I got into year 8, it was constant bullying and name calling. I wanted to write, but people used to tell me that writing isn't for boys. They would act like it was a bad thing. It started to make me lose my drive and my imagination. I stopped writing for around a year. I couldn't come up with any ideas. I struggled to find who I was. It was actually quite hard to go to school, but I didn't tell anyone what was going on. It got to a point where I was done with everything. I felt like I couldn't move on. I threw away my books and my scripts. That was tough. One day I read Jeremiah 29 verse 11. That verse speaks about how God has a plan for everyone and that you should always look forward to your future. When God has a plan for you, you shouldn't let anyone else bring you down or change the plan he has set for you. His plan is always going on to greater things. I've now seen the path he has set for me, and that's helped me build up my confidence. I know what I need to work towards, and I can carry on going towards it. My bond and relationship with Christ has grown and strengthened the more I've gotten involved in church, and it's taught me a lot about how God uses me. After meeting so many other people my age at church, it's made me realize you shouldn't hide who you are. I'm unique, and I'm no longer scared to tell people what I want to do in my life. I will always follow God's path that he has set for me. God's grace and love has made me fearless. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future.
What an awesome story. Well, maybe you've got a story that you would like to share, similar to the one we've just heard. We want to hear from you. So you can get in touch with us and share your story by emailing us at getinTouch@fearlesslondon.co.uk, or you can contact us on any of our social media channels.
So as you've already heard, this season is all about fearless relationships. So right now we're going to have a little bit of a chat with our team and some special guests, Jay and Zoe Cook, everybody.
Yeah.
Now, Jay and Zoe, you're leaders within our church, and you've been part of our church for many years. I know that you guys met in church, but Not only that, like Jay, you lead worship in front of thousands of people every Sunday, and Zoe, you've had countless coffees helping young people through different issues in life, and it really is a privilege to have you on the show. Yeah. So we're going to chat now, and this is called Bad Blood. Taylor Swift wrote a song called Bad Blood, and Dan Watson, you got the lyrics for us there.
Now we got problems, and I don't think we can solve them. You made a really deep cut, and baby, now we got bad blood. Hey.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a song heard by millions, and it's all about having a problem, having bad blood, and can't do anything about it. Just got to live with this pain, live with this hatred, live with this bad blood. And I guess what we want to discuss today is that true, or is that a lie? Do we just have to live with that stuff, or can we actually overcome this kind of forgiveness, and actually can we move on? So we've got a question here that someone's written in, and they said, my partner cheated on me, should I forgive them or dump them? Ooh. My partner cheated on me, should I forgive them or dump one? It's a strong question. Jay or Zoe, one of you guys want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge question. But I'd say there definitely needs to be forgiveness. But that doesn't mean you should stay with the person.
Right.
I think, you know, you want to be with someone who doesn't want to be with anyone else. And just because you forgive them doesn't mean you have to stay with them.
Yeah, let's go.
So what about in this situation? Let's say this girl decides to forgive this boyfriend or girlfriend, whichever one it is, and then they forgive them, but they can't forget about it. And so they're living in this relationship. They think they've forgiven them, but down the road.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of human nature, is it? Like, you know, we can't forget things when our brain doesn't erase that stuff. And I guess whoever that person is has to work out, is it worth fighting for? Yeah. If it's going to be such a massive roadblock in that relationship, then it's going to become unhealthy. And I think you have to end it.
So you don't think forgiveness means forgetting necessarily?
No.
Yeah, and I reckon that's such a gold point, because even Nelson Mandela, he spoke about everything that happened to him while he was in prison, but he said if he didn't find forgiveness, then he would still be in another prison, and that prison is unforgiveness. So he just talks about how he found true freedom when he actually forgave. And so maybe in our heads we think about things that we can and can't forgive, like how do we come up with like the levels of what is forgivable and what isn't forgivable?
Yeah.
Anyone ever had any things which you thought wasn't forgivable, but actually you found a way to forgive?
Well, I think, like, I'm a youth pastor, so working with young people all the time, you come up with situations with, whether it's girlfriend and boyfriend or just family situations where forgiveness is a big issue to tackle. But what I've seen is that forgiveness actually brings healing for that individual. And then they're actually able to go back to that family situation or that relationship as a whole person, and that becomes a testimony, and that becomes a story of the love that they have for that person. And in my life, I had a distant relationship with my father because of unforgiveness. But once I sorted that out in my life and forgave him, it actually, in the last couple of months, became one of the reasons that he came to know Christ. Wow. Is because he saw that that Christ's love was actually bigger than any situation or mistake that he might have made in his life. And now relationship's better than ever.
It's great, man. It's very cool.
In terms of unforgiveness, you know, it doesn't make that person right, it doesn't make the situation right, but it actually gives you freedom. Yeah. It gives you freedom to heal, it gives you freedom to grow, freedom to forgive that person. You may not, you know, forget what happened, but you're free from that situation, you're free from that bondage, and you're free to all that Christ has for you and to move forward. So definitely, you know, not holding on to it, but, you know, letting it go and having that freedom.
I think with that, though, sometimes with forgiveness, the other person doesn't actually realise that they've offended you. And so often it comes back to kind of what we've spoken about basics, is actually the communication aspect. Because, for example, with my wife, sometimes she might do something which really frustrates me, and so inside of me, I'm like, oh, I can't believe she's done that, it's so annoying. But she doesn't even know. And so it's only when actually I go and say to her and say, hey, babe, like, this really frustrated me. Yeah. Could we change it? She's like, yeah, of course. And then everything's all sweet. And so it just comes back to that communication and, being willing to forgive.
Go on, man. All right, we've got one last question here. Someone's written this in and they've said, I've done lots of stuff which is bad, but how do I know if God will forgive me? That's a big question.
It's something I've really struggled with as a teenager. I think you can get so consumed with your past or things that you've messed up in. And although we know Jesus died to forgive our sins, it's really hard to understand that. And I remember years ago, I went to a youth camp And the pastor at the time had a huge wooden cross at the front of the church and was explaining was talking about forgiveness, and he gave us all a piece of paper and we were to write down a sin or things that were really in our past that were really we held on to. So we wrote it down, we went up and the leaders nailed it to the cross. At the end of the session, they took it off and they burnt each piece of paper, so it was gone. And for me, that was something visually that it's gone. Everything I've done in the past is gone. And, you know, for me, it was almost like a new start. And, you know, we mess up all the time. We're not perfect. But it's realizing that, yeah, it's gone. You don't have to hold on to that. Jesus loves us for no matter what. He adores us. We're his kids. So, yeah, for me, it's just gone.
Very cool.
Yeah, I love that the Bible says that there's actually nothing that can separate us from the love of God. And nothing meaning like the best that we do, and nothing meaning actually the worst that we do as well. And you know, Jesus died once for all. He died for our past sins, he died for our present sins, and he actually died for our future sins, which is like a crazy thing to even think about. But we just have to take God at his word and actually believe that what he says is true and that we are forgiven.
So good. Well, thank you, Jay and Zoe, for being on the show. We've absolutely loved you here. Come on, we put our hands together. Actually, if you're cool with it, we'd love to have you back on the show next time, because I think we need to chat more about this, how to overcome forgiveness. And so if you're up for it, we'd love to have you back.
We'd love to.
Brilliant.
Maybe you've got some thoughts on what we spoke about today, or maybe you've got some questions. We'd love to hear from you. So you can email us at getintouch@fearlesslondon.co.uk, or you can contact us on any of our social media channels.
For bonus footage, bloopers, and behind-the-scenes content, check out our YouTube page, Fearless TV UK. Check out our social media channels at Fearless TV UK. #The Fearless Generation. If you're skilled and interested in filming, motion graphics, video editing, presenting, script writing, or all things TV, then why not join us for a gap year through the iCare Academy?
What a great show we've had today. Even those fish, they were nasty. If you did miss this week, don't worry, there's plenty more fish in the sea.
That's right. Well, that's all we've got for you today, but we're going to leave you with a song from our youth and young adults down at the warehouse.
So, yeah.
See me